One image. That's all new AI needs to recognize anything? Imagine if you could learn a completely new skill after seeing it just once. Not practicing for weeks. Not studying for months. Just one single example and you'd master it. For years, artificial intelligence has needed thousands of examples to learn anything meaningful. But something fundamental has changed. Today's AI can watch a single image, read one sentence, see one video clip, and suddenly understand patterns that would take a human days to grasp. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. And it's about to transform how we use AI forever. This technology is called one-shot learning, and it's the reason why the smartest AI models today learn so differently than they did just 2 years ago. One-shot learning means exactly what it sounds like. Show an AI model a single example of something, and it learns to recognize similar examples forever. Here's what makes this mind-blowing. Traditional AI models needed what's called supervised learning. You'd feed them thousands of labeled photos to teach them what a cat is. 10,000 images of cats from different angles, different lighting, different breeds. Only then would the AI confidently identify a new cat it had never seen before. But one-shot learning flips this completely upside down. Instead of needing thousands of examples, these new models can generalize from just one. Show them one image of a rare dog breed they've never encountered, and they can immediately pick out that same breed in a crowd of photos. Show them one example of a new writing style, and they can generate text in that exact style. It's like the difference between needing to read an entire instruction manual versus having someone show you once and saying, "Got it. I can do that now." Think about how you learned to recognize your best friend's face. You didn't need 10,000 photos of them. You saw them once, maybe twice, and your brain instantly coded their unique features. You could spot them in a crowd decades later. Your brain did this with almost zero effort. This is exactly what one-shot learning tries to replicate. The old way AI learned was like forcing a student to memorize the same spelling word 5,000 times before being confident they could spell it correctly once. It was brutally inefficient. Humans don't learn that way. We learn through pattern recognition and context. We understand that if we see one example of something unusual, we can extrapolate and understand variations of it immediately. A child sees one giraffe and understands the concept of a giraffe. They don't need to see 5,000 giraffes in different poses, different lighting conditions, and different seasons. One-shot learning finally teaches AI to think more like human brains do. It uses something called meta-learning. Instead of memorizing specific examples, the AI learns how to learn. It develops an internal strategy for extracting the essential features from any example, then applying those features to recognize new variations instantly. Let's get concrete. Right now, Google's Gemini model can do something wild. Show it a single sketch you drew of a creature, and it can generate variations of that exact creature in different styles. One drawing, that's all. It understands the unique characteristics of your creation from just that one image. Or consider medical imaging. A radiologist shows a new AI model one example of a rare tumor pattern they've never seen before. That one example. The AI immediately learns to scan thousands of patient files and flag other instances of that exact same tumor pattern. This saves weeks of manual work. In language, one-shot learning works similarly. Show an AI model one example of how you write emails, and some newer systems can continue writing in your exact style with your exact vocabulary and structure. Or show it one example of a coded message using a secret cipher your friend invented, and it cracks the pattern. One example. That's the power. These aren't theoretical demonstrations either. They're being deployed in real products right now. Document recognition systems use one-shot learning to adapt to new document formats instantly. Customer service bots can learn from one conversation example how a specific business wants them to respond. This isn't tomorrow's technology. It's operating in production systems today, silently transforming how AI adapts to human needs. Here's what makes one-shot learning genuinely revolutionary. For the last decade, building AI meant following this exhausting formula. Collect massive datasets. Spend months cleaning and labeling data. Train models for weeks on expensive hardware. Deploy. Repeat when you need a new skill. This cycle locked AI development behind companies with enormous resources. Only Google, OpenAI, Meta, and a handful of massive corporations could afford to train new models. One-shot learning cracks this open entirely. Now a small startup or even an individual can take an existing AI model and customize it for their specific need with just a few examples. A small bookstore can adapt an AI to recognize their unique inventory without hiring a data team. A researcher in a developing country can use one example to teach AI to detect a disease that's common only in their region. The cost barrier collapses. The time barrier collapses. One-shot learning democratizes AI development. It means the next breakthrough tool might not come from Silicon Valley. It might come from a team of 3 people working in their garage who spotted a problem and adapted an AI to solve it in an afternoon. This fundamentally changes who gets to build the future of AI. And that's genuinely revolutionary. This isn't speculative. One-shot learning is already embedded in tools you might use today. Anthropic's Claude can adapt to new writing styles, formatting preferences, and even domain-specific knowledge from just a few examples in your conversation. OpenAI's latest GPT models use techniques very similar to one-shot learning in their prompt engineering. Show them one example of what you want and they adapt instantly. Google Gemini uses few-shot learning, which is closely related, to handle specialized tasks from minimal examples. Adobe's newer generative tools can watch you edit one image a specific way and then apply similar edits to entire batches. Notion's AI features learn from your database structure by seeing just one example of what you're trying to do. Microsoft's Copilot uses one-shot principles to understand custom business jargon and adapt responses accordingly. But here's the deeper point. These visible consumer tools are just the tip. Behind the scenes, enterprise AI systems are using one-shot and few-shot learning to radically reduce training time and cost. Pharmaceutical companies use it to identify drug candidates. Manufacturing plants use it to spot new types of defects instantly. Financial institutions use it to detect fraud patterns that emerged yesterday. This technology is already transforming entire industries quietly. By 2026 and into the next decade, one-shot learning capabilities will become the baseline expectation for serious AI tools. We're moving toward what researchers call personalized AI. Instead of getting a generic model that works for everyone, you'll get AI that adapts to you. Your writing style, your preferences, your business rules, within minutes, within seconds. Smart glasses might recognize objects by learning from your single point of view of them. Your personal AI assistant will understand your humor, your urgency levels, your decision-making patterns from tiny amounts of interaction data. Home automation systems will adapt to your preferences without endless configuration. One-shot learning will enable something called lifelong learning AI. Models that keep getting smarter throughout their deployment without requiring retraining or engineer intervention. They'll observe what works in their specific context and refine themselves. This has massive implications for accessibility. Someone with a speech impediment can train an AI to understand their unique way of speaking with literally one example. A child learning a new language can have an AI tutor that adapts to their learning style instantly. The disabled community gains AI tools tailored specifically to them without waiting for companies to build those features. By 2026, the AI gap between what big tech companies can deploy and what individuals can deploy will shrink dramatically. One-shot learning makes that possible. But let's be honest about the guardrails. One-shot learning isn't magic. It has real limitations. If that single example is misleading or unrepresentative, the AI learns the wrong thing. Show an AI one photo of a dog in a swimming pool, and it might incorrectly learn that all dogs are associated with water. One biased example can poison the entire learning process. One-shot learning works best when the pattern is clear and the example is typical. If the pattern is subtle or the example is an edge case, one-shot fails. This is why doctors still need to supervise medical AI. Why radiologists still need to review tumor detection. Why judges still need to evaluate AI decisions. One-shot learning is incredibly powerful for adapting to common variations. But the rarer the scenario, the less reliable one-shot becomes. There's also the question of how this knowledge was acquired in the first place. Even though a deployed model can learn from one example, that model still needed to be trained on massive datasets beforehand. We're not eliminating the data collection problem. We're just moving it earlier in the pipeline. And finally, there's a question nobody's asking enough. If AI can learn from one example, does that make it easier to manipulate? Can someone deliberately feed it one poisoned example to make it malfunction? These are unsolved questions. One-shot learning is powerful. But like any powerful tool, it demands careful, thoughtful deployment. One-shot learning isn't the endpoint of AI evolution. It's a fundamental shift in how intelligence adapts to the real world. From medical diagnosis to personal assistance to accessibility tools, this capability is quietly reshaping what's possible. The gap between advanced AI and personalized AI is closing. And that changes everything about who builds the future and for whom. The question now isn't what AI can do. It's what you'll teach it to do. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and follow Oops, It's AI. See you in the next one.